So basically, though, from when Dionysius changed the year one, or the transition from BC to AD in 525, the calendar was not changed until 1582. So we're talking 1,000 years, and that's when Pope Gregory the 13th uh, realigned the calendar because they started to realize that, wait a second, the year is not 365 days plus a leap year. It's slightly off from that quarter of a day. So they had to make a new rule so the calendar omits leap years and years divisible by 100. So going back from the dawn of time, like 100 AD, 200 AD, 300 AD, all those would not have a leap year because we need to take this small fraction off. It's slightly shorter than a quarter of a day.
It's like
But to get the
365.24 something, something, something.
yeah, yeah, it's like 0.2425.
Hmm.
So by the time that they were Pope Gregory the 13th was realizing, hey, we need to realign this, they were 10 days off from when the calendar was created. Because over the centuries, they had it skewed from where the sun was located.
Hmm.
And they really realized this because they wanted to have Easter based on the spring equinox. So instead of the spring equinox being on March 21st, they were 10 days off of this. And they were like, hey, something's not right. So they put this new rule in. Oh, and there's also one other exception to the rule, but I feel like if I said all at once, it would get kind of confusing. So if the year is divisible by 400 now, then that would still be a leap year. So like the year 2000, we still observed it as a leap year. But the
Hmm.
year 2100 will not be a leap year. So it's so out of 400 years, you will omit 3 leap years,
I see.
is how we get better aligned. But so they were 10 days off. So basically, they went from October 4th, 1582, right to October 15th, 1582. And it went straight from Thursday to Friday. They didn't skip any days of the week. I guess that wasn't important to them. Or maybe that
Huh.
was easier for people to conceptualize.
Yeah.
So it's interesting though,
Wow.
if we were to keep with Julius Caesar's calendar, the Julian calendar, we would be off by 13 days now, which is kind of wild that from 1582 to now, we'd only be off by that amount, or the extra 3 days. But if you think about it, 1600 would have skipped, and you have 1700, or 1600 would have been a leap year. So if we were still to follow the Julian calendar, right, we'd be off by 13 days today. But when they were trying to get this across by Pope Gregory the 13th, this took many years to be accepted by a lot of countries. And it's kind of wild that I didn't realize this, but some countries took so long, like some of the most recent ones to accept the Gregorian calendar shift was Greece in 1923, and Saudi Arabia didn't accept it until 2016. So they were still off by from everybody else in the world by, 13 days at this point.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so confusing. You gotta tell them, like, you guys need to jump ahead in time 13 days.
They're like, yeah, on August 21st this happened. They're like, well, actually, that was, in September.
Yeah. Dude, that would be so confusing.
Yeah, so they were like,
So many little things that would be like, little streams of communication that would be thrown off by that.
oh yeah, it would have been all messed up. But so the correct calendar in quotations here is what we
Hmm.
use today is called the Gregorian calendar after Pope Gregory. So then getting
Nice.
now into shorter time frame. So now instead of talking about long frame calendars. We're talking about the days of the week, and I was curious as to how we got our names for the days. But then it starts to make a lot of sense. In ancient times, their only observation of the stars or celestial beings was with the naked eye, right? So we
Mm.
have 7 days of the week because there are seven observable celestial bodies that don't follow the patterns of the general stars or the rest of the stars in the Milky Way as we know today. So that is broken up into Sunday, which is the sun, Monday is named after the moon, Tuesday is named after Mars, which is Aries, the god.
Why?
Uh,
Oh, because the translation, the language was translated.
Correct.
Tuesday doesn't really.
Yes, yes. I
Okay.
I
Yeah, yeah.
believe, there's some information on, you know, so different languages and then different gods throughout different
Mm-hmm.
locations or civilizations. I think the Tuesday actually comes from like two Tiw, the Nordic god. But then,
Tua Tagovailoa.
yep, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the quarterback from you know,
Miami.
200 BCE. No.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And then
All right. So Sunday the sun, Monday the moon, Tuesday
Mars.
Mars.
Wednesday is Mercury, which it makes more sense in Latin. It's like Mercury, or like in French they call it Mercredi is Wednesday. Thursday is
Mm.
named after Jupiter. Uh, I think that also comes from Nordic translation because in Greek, Jupiter is named after Zeus, and Zeus is the god of thunder, which is Thor. So I think that's how Thursday comes into play.
Mm.
And then Friday was named after Venus, which was for Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty. I'm not sure how. Oh, I think that also comes in Latin, um, which translates to French. Friday is Vendredi, so that's kind of more closely related to
Hmm.
Venus. And then Saturday's easy. You know what that planet is?
Saturn.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's how we got the days of the week.
That's sick.
So now we're gonna do a little transition. So we're gonna get to reading time shorter than a day. And this started with sundials.